Hi, welcome to another edition of my trading strategies using BF Bot Manager. Apologies, I haven't been on for a while. I've had a few mishaps. I've had to head off into the van into the middle of nowhere where we didn't have a good enough signal to upload videos. So I just concentrated on doing some match betting because that was okay. It was like kind of slow, but managed to do it. So today I want to go through how I've been getting on with the strategies. I've subscribed to BF Bot Manager for a year. I took the plunge and went for the year. It just worked out so much cheaper. It's not something I normally do. I normally kind of stick to monthly in case I don't, keep it up for the year. But with this, I think I'm just going to have to just bit the bullet because I think it was 30 quid a month, or it worked out if you'd done it over a year, it was only £10 a month. I've never seen such a sort of difference in the sort of yearly to monthly prices. Normally just save like a couple of months. Anyhow, I've been testing a few different strategies. I haven't found the one that works entirely yet. I'm back on Lay the Draw. I was trying different things, just in simulation mode I might add, not with real money, although I have done some with real money, which I'll go on to shortly. I was testing quite a few different things to see what would work, and then I did come across a good article online on a website, I can't remember where it was now, that it said you should concentrate on one, and one only, and master it. Rather than being a jack of all trades. So I've just gone back to Lay in the Draw, which are these three strategies here. You can see the Lay the Draw up here that I was doing initially went £29 down. We had a 79% strike rate, which was 76 wins out of 96, which you make things quite high, but obviously it's not high enough to make a profit. The reason being was all the wins were like pennies, or like less than, sort of probably averaged about 50p or even less. This is off £2 trades, whereas the 20 losses were probably, averaging like, well, they were anywhere between sort of 5 and even up to 10 quid. So I knew at that point I had to bail out on that one, so I turned that off, and I've started again down here. Now I've started this one. I've got another one here that was 26, like 27 down. That was 49 out of 64. That wasn't quite as successful, but it was even more of a loss. Well, about the same loss actually. Anyway, moving on to this one. Ran this for a couple of days, and it was £12 up until last night, when I think it's 117 out of 21, which is an 81% strike rate. I think that there was 70 in the last three, the last three trades in a row lost. So I've just tweaked it a little bit. And basically all these three strategies are the same apart from the exit point, and it's only the exit point where there hasn't been a goal. So if I run through the strategy, just using this one at the bottom, we're always looking for the home team now. I'm only looking at the home team being a favourite with a back price of 1.01 to 1.99. So what I'm saying there is that the way I figure it going is like, if you've got a home team, odds on favourite, like under evens, at home, playing at home, they're more likely to score first, and then we can just get out. It's less likely that the away team's going to score. I think it's a bit more of a risk if you've got an odds on favourite playing away from home. Unless it's like one of your real top teams, but even then things still go a goal down. I mean, so can this way, to be honest. It's amazing how many sort of games I've seen where the away team underdog takes the lead. I'm making sure that the market, which is the matched odds market, has at least £1,000 match, just to make sure it's like a reasonably profiled game. It's not high profile, because I think you can normally set it like 30,000 to easily cover any sort of top flight games. And we can just ignore these. That's just showing I'm putting the bet in 6 minutes before kickoff. Now on the selection conditions, I'm making sure the back and lay price for the draw must be between 3 and 6. So if it's not, I'm not putting a trade in. The reason for that is there was loads of, I don't know if you've seen the previous video where I've mentioned something like Celtic I use as an example when they're playing at home to like a rubbish Premiership Scottish team in the Premiership. Celtic always like somewhere between 1.14 and 1.18 to win the game, and then the away team is something ridiculous like 20 or 30 to 1, and then it draws even, like, you know, it's at least 10, 11, 12 all the way up to, I think I've seen about 20 for the odds, and it just means liability is just too risky, even though it's a little bit counterproductive in that, like Celtic are so odds on that you think, well, 9 times out of 10 they're going to win, but there is that one time that they like draw at home, for example, and that's when you're going to lose, and you're going to lose a hell of a lot of money. Because what I have found is, like, when you do win these trades, you win in small amounts, but when you do lose them, you're losing big amounts because of the liability. It's a lot more than the actual stake you're putting on. So that's the logic behind that. And I've got those rules I've just mentioned there, I've got all through all 3 of these. Now, staking for all of them, I've got a £2 stake for all of them. And remember that, again, this is just simulation, so it's not betting real money, it's not trading real money. And then it's just the after rule bets that change. On all 3, I'm coming out if there's a goal scored, even if it's the away team, because again, I've found that so many times I've traded on a game and the away teams took the lead, and I've stayed in because of my rules, and because it still hasn't dropped, the draw layer price still hasn't dropped enough to come out. And when the underdog playing away from home goes ahead, it doesn't matter how early it is, it's always at the very, very, very end of the game where the draw gets low enough to trade out for a profit. So it's not really worth staying in, because I've been stung so many times. I think Juventus played at home to Bologna earlier in the week. I think it was Bologna, I'd have to have a look back, but I just remember Bologna took the lead in the first half, and if I'd come out, I'd have had a small profit, like 50-60 pence on the £2, which is, well, I say small, so it's quite high actually. It's like a quarter of the stake, but I actually ended up losing, I think it was about £6 or £7 on that one game because of the way it went. And Juventus didn't score until the 94th minute, and I still hadn't traded out because it still hadn't reached the layer price for the draw that I was looking for, the 1.75. I think I had it set to 1.5 at the time. That's when I upped it to 1.75, and I'm still not too happy with that, because even at 1.75 it goes up to like the 80th minute. And by which point at the 80th minute you're losing quite a bit of your liability on the stake you've put down. And if it's a team like, I say, Juventus, the draw must have been about 6, because I think I lost about £10. So before the game, the draw must have been about odds of 6. So I'm tinkering with the idea of having exiting at 2.0, because this is about 80 minutes. I figure this will probably be about, in most games, it depends on how favourite the favourite is, if that makes sense, how odds on favourite the favourite is. You know, the minutes can differ, but rather than come out at a set minute each time, I've been waiting until the odds go down to a certain amount. I might actually look at other things like losing a set amount, like 50 pence or something, or 75 pence or something like that, and then coming out then. Otherwise just letting it roll. But I'm doing this one at the moment. I will be putting up a load more variations of this layer the draw here and seeing which one works best. The thing is, you have to run them quite a while in simulation mode, way more than this, to actually find out whether they're going to be profitable long term or not. But the good thing is you can just switch them on and off in real mode even if you've started using them. And then this bottom one is exactly the same. They're all coming out if there's a goal scored, but there's no exit on this one. If it goes 0-0 at the end, we're just losing all reliability. I just want that one back in there because I'm thinking the closer I'm bringing this forward, so this one's say about 70 minutes coming out, this one will be, sorry, this one's about 80 minutes coming out, and even if you said this one's about 70 minutes coming out, I could put like another one to 2.2 or 2.25, and that would be like sort of 60 minutes maybe, something like that. The closer I get the further I get from the end of the game when I'm coming out, the more chance I'm missing out on a late winner, for example. So that's why I'm putting this one in, just to try out the late winner, because they do say that more goals are scored later on in the game than at the start, because normally like it can be a cagey opening if you've got two sort of evenly matched teams. Even though we're not trying to bet on evenly matched teams, I don't think that's always the case. I've just seen a bet go in this morning for Middlesbrough versus Huddersfield. Middlesbrough were like about 1.8 at home, and Huddersfield, they're still in the playoff positions, I think, so I wouldn't say that is a banker home win, but you know, it might be. But we've traded on it, so we're looking for Middlesbrough to get a goal, and then we can trade out. But I'll go and have a look, see how that's getting on in a minute. But that's gonna test that. The good thing about being in simulation mode, we can test all these variations and see which one comes out best. I do remember previously testing, when I was doing this manually on spreadsheets, I'd have to go and have a look where it's let run to the end. That's basically letting it ride unless there's a goal. I think we were letting it ride actually in the test. In the spreadsheet test, we were letting it ride until the end of the game regardless. Whereas all these three strategies will come out if a goal is scored. So the only time these three differences apply is when it's still nils each, because we'll already be out. You can see on here what I've done was I fell foul of a little peculiarity whereby I've ticked all these. So the only thing I haven't ticked is the draws down here: 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, 5-5. Ticked all these because when the goal goes in, you can see if it goes 1-0 to the favourites at home, it waits a little while. I'm not sure how long. There's an option here to wait like sort of 120 seconds there, and it's in case of like VAR or letting the market sell VAR. And I've had it in the past, it hasn't traded out at 1-0 when I only had 1-0 and 0-1 checked on here. It hasn't traded out at 1-0, and then there's been a quick second goal, whether it's been like an equaliser or a 2-0 up. It's been a quick second goal, and then my rules never apply again, because it's never going to be 1-0 or 0-1, so I've ended up checking them all just to cover myself. But typically you're going to get out at 1-0 or 0-1. So even if the worst case scenario is probably that the underdog who's playing away from home takes the lead in the first 5 minutes, it's going to get out of the trade, and you're going to lose a percentage, probably quite a high percentage of your £2 stake. And again, I'm not too concerned about that, because I've been stung so many times in the past with the home team then applying pressure, the away team shutting up shop, and the home team like getting back into it late in the game and like equalising 1-1, and I've lost all my liability basically. So that's what I've been testing here. You can see, I don't know if that was 0 there when we first started the video, but it's gone to 66 pence now. And we've won one trade out of one trade. I've just started these bottom two this morning. This one I've been running for about a day and a half, maybe just over, and you can see we've won 18 out of 22 now, or 70 out of 21 I think just before. So that's one winning trade under our belt there. If I click on bets here, you can see what the trade was. And there's a few in there. I'll not complicate things there, because I'd obviously already had it switched on. I've just reset it. So what I'll do, if I go into the market screen and show you the market for those, I'll just go up a bit. I'll just close that. That's the Middlesbrough Huddersfield game I was talking about. It's 21 minutes in, it's still nils each. Haven't looked at any stats obviously because I'm recording, but you can see there, if I just open that back up and explain this one, you can see the 3 layer bets. There's 1 layer bet for each of the 3 strategies. You've got your 1.75 strategy, you've got your 2 strategy, and you've got your no exit strategy. So if a goal goes in at all in this game, it'll put a back bet in, and you'll see the difference for the £2. I'll show you one of those in a minute. That's already happened. Hopefully find that 66p one. If we go up, Anything where there's a little green blob here, it means there's a trade on it. Can't see the 66p one, I'm not sure what's happened. Oh right, okay, I can, that's it there. It's because it's timesing it by 3. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's my mathematical mind going here wall there. It's not 66 pence, we won 366 pences there, you can see them there. So you can see the 3 lay bets there, we got in at 5.1 on laying the draw, and when we put the back bet in we got 7.6. So that's a difference of 66 pence on each. So we're profit and loss. We're loss on the back bet because it wasn't a draw. You lay the draw to start with at £2, and then you back the draw further on in the game when it's a higher profit. So you lay low and back high, and then that means we won £2 on laying the draw because it wasn't a draw, and we lost 134 on backing the draw later in the game because it wasn't a draw. So at 7.2, so we won 2 on each of the 3 trades. We won £2 and we lost £1.36. So in effect, we were 66 pence up on each of the 3 trades, which is your 198 there. And that's how it works. And then it attributes back on the strategy screen is for each strategy it shows you profit and loss, which is what we were just looking at there. So we'll go back there, you can see it's 66 pence. And the reason I've started doing this one is because, like I say, this strategy was up to about £12 profit. Apart from the last 3 of the 17 lost 3 in a row. So that's why I started tweaking these little things. I've still got this one running live, which I'll show you in a sec. So just going back to the strategies, sorry, to the market screen. Let's close that one up. You can see that these games are in progress down here, but they haven't settled yet because there's no profit or loss in them. So if we look at this one, this is on the 68th minute. Spal versus Crotone, who knows. You can see we laid at £2 and we backed out at, well, 2 of them were 197, one was 95. That's just a discrepancy in the prices when they come out. And the reason that it's so applying the same principle there, we're going to make a £3 or £3 I wish, a 3 pence or a 5 pence profit on these 3. 2 will be a 3 pence profit, your £2 minus 197, and 1 will be a 5p profit, which is £2 minus your 195. And the reason for that is because you can see it's 0-1 there, so it's the underdog took the lead. Crotone took the lead, and it was 11:30 kickoff. And you can see, without me going in any stats of the game, which you can do, I can see that it put these back bets in at 11:41, which was only like 11 minutes after the kickoff, 10-11 minutes after the kickoff. So again, that's what I was talking about earlier. The underdogs took the lead away from home in the 10th minute. So we've come out and I think we're quite lucky to make a little profit there. Actually, I'm quite happy with that, because that's the ones where, if we watch that game now till the end of the game, it's on the 70th minute now. There's only 20 minutes left, and the home team favourite still hasn't scored an equaliser. But what I've been finding in the past, in the last 20 minutes, there's a good chance that they do, and that's why the lay price of the draw is still so high, and it doesn't get low enough to come out naturally without taking a loss. So I'm happy to get out at a 3 pence profit that and just move on to the next one, where we'll get a game where the home team does score. If I click on here, I should be able to see, if you click on that one there, I think brings up the score, like so you can see there they scored in the 7th minute. So the game might have kicked off a little bit later because we checked out 11 minutes after it was due to kick off, but it might be a minute or 2 anyway. It waits for the markets to settle anyway before it puts in the back bet to make sure you're not like getting crazy, and make sure there's no VAR and stuff like that. But you can see they've made substitutes at half time here to try and get back in the game and everything. 46th minute, 3 substitutes, and made another one in the 63rd minute. They're not even dominating that well, I wouldn't have said. They've had 11 shots off target, 4 on, and the away teams had 8 shots off target and 6 on. Is possession on here? Possession, it's quite even actually. It's 51-49 considering they're the home team, and they were like, I don't know what the odds were for the home team. That's something else I probably need to look at to find in. Don't know if it tells you on here. It's not on there. I was just looking at some of the previous game results. Yeah, I don't know what Spal's odds were at the start of the game. I think this is a position. Yeah, that's a position in the league. I wouldn't even, if I'd looked at all this and done my due diligence, I probably wouldn't have traded on this anyway, because I wouldn't have said they're high enough up the league. On, you know, they're not enough higher than them to be dominant favourites, which showing at the thing they're not. Probably find that this team here is probably near the bottom, the very bottom, like scrapping for relegation. They're probably in a massive relegation fight. I mean, these might be as well. There's only 4 places above. And that's what I probably need to do, is look at all this, but I'm not into doing that for every single game. I'm going to look at it after the event, because remember we're still in, well, I was going to say remember we're still in simulation mode. We're not, we're in live mode on some of these. And then this other game here, we've come out with a loss there. You can see that we've put lay bets in £2 and our back bets have been £2.44, so we're 44 pence down and 54 pence down for those two. And I suspect that's exactly the same reason. Yeah, the away team's gone 1-0 up. And they're still 1-0 up because it's half time. That's a half time score there. And the home team hasn't come back into it yet. And the away team scored. That bet was placed at 12 and it kicked off at 12, so about the same time. It's exactly the same as the game before, but where we made 3 pence on this game, that was less likely that the home team was going to come back into it. I think the reason we've lost so much on this game is because there's more, the markets show there's more chance of this home team coming back into it. So if you look at the same stats here, I'm not sure why, because they're in 8th place in the league and that's their 4th, so I don't even know why. We would have lost so much there. But you can see they're scoring the 8th minute, which is not what we want. We want the home team scoring. But again, I think I'm probably going to put something in about this, because that's, I mean, if I looked at that just on paper, I would never put them down as home favourites by that much. You know, being odds on. Because that's what we're talking here, the home team has to be odds on, because we're seeing under 2.0. Yeah, I mean the top 4 and the 8th. I know they're playing at home, but I still, you know, I'd probably favour a draw there, just looking at it on paper, not a home win. But there you go. This is what we need to go through and learn. So we've lost about 50 pence there. So what I'm quickly going to do now is just jump onto the live mode, just to show you what I've been doing. Now I know you can't really do this, but you can't run simulation and real mode on the same computer. It doesn't work. But what I've actually done is I've run an app called, or a program called Sandboxy. It's a bit like a virtual machine, but not a virtual machine. It's like a sandbox basically, so you can run. So I'm actually running this live real mode in a sandbox. You can see when I hover over it there, it turns yellow around the outside, which shows I'm running a sandbox. It's just unfortunate that BF Bot Manager has this yellow border as well around its normal. So it's a bit confusing. Well, it can be confusing. But if you look at down here, if I hover over there, you can see BF Bot Manager with hashes around. I can tell that's a live one because the hashes mean it's running in sandbox mode. And if I hover over this one, that one hasn't got the hashes around, so I know that's my simulation mode one. So simulation, if you look at the top right, you see simulation, and top right again when I hover over that one's in real mode. So that's one way around. If you want to try that, guys, just get a Sandboxy and you can run the same app twice on the same computer. I'm not saying it's going to run ideal, because I might have performance issues because this laptop isn't heavy duty anyway, and we'll eventually be putting this real mode onto like a virtual desktop in the cloud, or a VPS, like a virtual server. I'm looking at stuff like that now, but obviously again there's an additional cost on that. I'm just looking for like cheap, reliable, and a UK one. That's been one of the sticking points. All the good cheap ones in the US, which I know are good, because if you then have to start running VPNs possibly, which I don't know if it'll even work. because obviously when you're trading on Betfair, you need to look like you're in the UK, and so I need a UK hosting provider to do a virtual server or desktop. I'll get back to you when I get something sorted on that. But anyway, into real mode, you can see I was running the second half goal strategy, which worked quite well, I say, but I'd lost £60 on it after seeing it work quite well. I actually won 61 and 91 trades, so it was a little bit up to start with, but then I just started finding all these nil-nils. I don't know if there's been a spate of nil-nils early, but I was reading another article saying like the April and May for all the European leagues normally have the most average goals in the game on average, because it must be just the difference between like teams sort of trying to sort of get out of the relegation zone and get into the European spots and things like that. But I found the teams I was placing trades on, the problem with the second half goal one as well, it was just getting on anything as well. I wasn't looking at any goal history or anything like that, so I turned it off before I lost too much money. And I was also running this lay the draw one, and I turned that off as well. That one kind of quickly went down to 20 and just hovered around there. And that's the £7 difference is when I was running that one in an earlier stage as well. For a couple of days I'd lost £7. But anyway, this is the tweaked one for the day. I seem to have a new one each day, but that's the name of the game. I just like to have the one running live. What you can see on this tweaked one, I'm only placing £1 stakes. Betfair recently reduced it from £2 down to £1, so I'm only putting £1 stakes in here. You can click on here and see all your bets under this strategy. So you can see we've got another so the games I've just taken you through. The only one that hasn't had a match yet, when I say a match, it hasn't had a back bet, is the Middlesbrough Huddersfield game, because it must still be nils each. But you can see here, this game had a lay in a back, and then it settled, which is the 36p profit there. It's slightly different, it'll be different numbers from the simulation because I'm only staking £1 rather than £2. So I've got 36p profit from the pound stake there, which is good. And then this game here, this is the one we've just looked at in the simulation. It's obviously put the trade on in. This one hasn't settled yet because the game hasn't finished. These only change to settle once the games are finished, even though we've effectively we have laid our lay bet and we've placed our back bet. As far as we're concerned, that's finished, and you can see there was £1 minus 96p. So we've made 4p on that one, and then this one here we've lost 31p, which is the equivalent, you know, the one that I just went through before there in simulation. It's a little slightly less loss. It's only 31p instead of 50 odd because we've only put £1 down. And then we've got £1 in on the Middlesbrough Huddersfield match. So if I go to the market screen, you can see them on here. So that's one I was just looking at there. You can see it's 31p in real mode because we laid at 4.7 and we got out at 3.65, which is obviously the wrong way around. You can see that they've gone 2-0 up now. So when I was saying like in 4th place and they're in 8th place, and why on earth these are odds on at the start of the game, I do not know. I need to do more than just look at the odds by the looks of it. But we've got out a minimal loss. 31p I'm happy enough with. 31p loss, because if I scroll up here you might see some of the bigger losses I was making. So you can see here when I'm making, that would have been another one where the underdogs go, oh no, it's a favourite scored there. I'm not sure why that come out at minus 2p. Maybe it's before they scored, the away team were like on top or something. I'm not sure, I haven't looked into that. But it's odd that it came out minus 2. But you can see all these wins here we've had, all like for pennies. The biggest one there, the top 74p. But then as soon as you find a loss, you can see the losses I had 4 in a row there. That was like the sort of when you saw 17 to 21 at the start of the video. That was like, I thought it was 3 in a row, it's actually 4 in a row. So when I had 17 out of 21, I probably had 17 out of 17 winners, and then these 4 in a row lost. which is just crazy. So we lost 4 in a row and then had all these winners, but you can see these 4 in a row added up to about, say, 12 quid there off the top of my head, and then all these winners wouldn't have cancelled that £12 loss out, because they're only for like pennies. So that's why I'm happy with a 31 pence loss, because that 31 pence loss would have turned into something like that yesterday. It won't turn into something like that today unless the game ends 0-0. We only had one game there ending 0-0, and we came out on 1.75, so that one potentially would be the same loss. Although these were on £2 trades as well, I think. So I think that's it for this video. What I'll do in the next video is show you, I will be leaving these 3 trades run, these 3 different strategies running in simulation mode and in live. It was only the one running in live, so in live, or real mode we'll call it. Go to strategies. It's this one here. The 1.75 is the one we're running live, and at the end of this video we're 36p up. We've won 1 trade out, 1 trade with a few more in the pipeline. One will be a winner, one's a loser, because we've had a little loss of 31p, and then we'll see how the Middlesbrough Huddersfield game gets on. We'll also have a look to see if we're getting any more games after that today. There's quite a few more games later in the day today. It's Easter Monday, so doesn't look like I want anything else yet. You can see there's the 1:30 ones, that's what I'll be looking at next. It's 1:10 at the moment, so with about 5 minutes before these games I might start sticking a few trades on here if any of the criteria is matched. But there's a lot of championship games today. There's a lot of games here at 2 o'clock. I'm scrolling down here now, and there's quite a few games, so I'd expect to get on quite a few games today. There's a lot of championship games there. Football League, not championship, AFL. And going back to the simulation mode and the strategies, just finally, we've got these 3 started there. 1.898 for the top one because it's been running a little bit longer. You can see there, and then we're 1 out of 1 on the bottom 2 here. So what I'll do another video tomorrow after the Bank Holiday Monday fixtures, and we'll see how these figures match up. I'll write these figures down now so I can compare them in the next video. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks now. Cheers. Bye.